Hey, what's up YouTube? Houston here. For those of you just finding my YouTube channel, welcome. Please remember to hit that subscribe button and that bell. And for those of you that's been following me and supporting me, salute. And for my favorite patrons, always, double salute. Now, today's video, we're actually going to be talking about how to get up to $50,000 online personal loans with bad credit and no credit check. And the thing about it is, you can go to a traditional bank, but they have so many red tape criteria that it's hard to get the larger amounts of loans, right? So with these here lenders that I'm going to show you, most of them, they don't trip off the credit at all. They're actually going to be looking at how long you've been at your resident, how long you've been on your job. Those are the things that they actually factor in versus how strong is your credit, okay? Now, here's the thing about it. I would tell you about any lender. You need to understand this. With any lender, when they're saying no credit check or something like that, there's always a system in place, okay? So what they're doing is the no credit check. So they're not going to check your regular Experian, Equifax, TransUnion. However, they have third-party systems in place to let them know if you ever defaulted on a payday loan or some type of unsecured loan or whatever, that'll give them a red flag to determine if they actually want to do business with you. So if you are trying to get a personal loan with no credit check, okay, the thing about it, you do need to know about these here creditors as well. All right, and also I'm going to tell you about what you actually may need to add to that credit application to get it approved, okay? Especially if you're trying to get for a higher dollar limit, all right? Now, you have Clarity, which is owned by Experian. You have DataX, which is owned by Equifax. And then you have Factor Trust, which is owned by TransUnion. So they may be looking at those files. I forgot to add LexisNexis. So that may be another one that they may check to see, have you defaulted on loans or when was your recent bankruptcy or something like that. Now, in terms of bankruptcy, for you guys that are probably in a Chapter 13 or just coming out of bankruptcy, there are lenders that will still work with you, okay? Now, what to put on a loan application, okay? This is something that's very important. A lot of people, when they're going to these third-party companies and they're trying to borrow money and stuff like that, what ends up happening is they may have a new address. So, okay, that new address may not be reporting to the credit bureaus. So that can get your loan denied. So you also have to take a look at that. Also, in terms of employment on the application, if you put down self-employed, that can get you denied because there's no variable proof of income. So then that's when they're going to ask for bank statements and maybe a W-2 or something like that, or tax returns, all right? Then in terms of income, all right, do you make the qualified amount of income? Do you have enough discretionary income, all right? And one of the things that I always tell people, now, if you have a spouse in the household, then you want to include your income plus your spouse's income. Now, if say that you have a roommate, right, and the roommate is sharing the expenses, so that's part of your income as well. So make sure that you're including the most amount of income that's dedicated to your helping your household expenses. Another thing you want to do if they ask, are you paying rent or having a mortgage? Now, I always tell people, make sure that you're putting down that you, if you're renting, never put down over 20%, that you're paying over 20% of your income for your rent. The reason is because that can cause for denial, because once you go like above 50%, then they're looking at you as a higher risk, okay? Now, in terms of, let's look at some of these lenders. You have MONEYMUTUAL, okay? They're not tripping off of the credit score, all right? But you have to at least be making $800 a month. You can borrow up to $5,000, but you do have to have a checking account. Even if you have a bounce check or you're in check systems, they may still be able to help you get qualified for a loan. Then you have CASHUSA. Again, there's another company. They're not looking at your personal credit, okay? However, they are looking at do you have job stability, or do you have a regular income? How long you've been on the job? How long you've been at that residence where you're at? Those are the things that they factor in terms of helping to determine how much of a loan they want to give you. Now, you can borrow from $500 up to $10,000, but you do have to have a checking account. Now, one of the things that I always tell people, the reason that I like CASHUSA is because, like, not only do they get loans from like the traditional lenders, however, they do the tribal lenders. So when you go to like the casinos, right, and say that you lost that $10,000 to the casino, well, the casino just loans that money back out. Excuse me. The casino loans that money back out. So that's where that money goes. So they can actually make more money off of that money. So that money is just not sitting there. They're actually loaning that money out. And again, they're not more or less focused on the personal credit is how long you've been on the job, or do you have a consistent income. So if you're on Social Security, SSI, retirement and stuff, they're okay with that, just long as you meet those minimum requirements. Now, you have another company called Credit Loan. Same situation. When they don't do an income verification, so for some that may be good, but at the same time, their loans go from $250 up to $40,000, okay? But you do have to have a checking account. They do have a 90% approval chance, right? So what that means is that if you're in check systems, but again, if you have a consistent income, then those are the things that they actually look at. Now, unfortunately, they do not operate in New York and Connecticut, and if you have bad credit, the maximum amount of money that you can borrow from them is $5,000. Then you have Upgrade. Now, I was telling you about if you have like if you're in a Chapter 13 bankruptcy, okay, a restructured bankruptcy, then like Upgrade may be your choice, all right? Or say that you have a 75% debt to income ratio. So you don't have bad credit, you just have a high debt. Then this is the type of company you may want to look at, okay? Now, they do have a minimum score of 560, but the average score is 678. Now, that does not disqualify you from applying or getting approved with them, like I said, because they do take into other factors, same as how long you've been on the job, how long you've been at your residence, your education factors. All of those things factor in when they're trying to help you get qualified. Now, the average income is $78,000, but you do not have to be making $78,000. But one of the things I tell you, also make sure that you're including all the income in the household that contributes to your income, okay, to help you get qualified. Now, their loans go from $500 up to $50,000. All right. And one of the things about it that kind of slows the process is because if you stay in Colorado, Idaho, New York, Vermont, Virginia, Wisconsin, and Wyoming, they may not be able to help you in those states. All right. And you have to have at least 2 trade lines on the credit file. Now, you have universal credit. Universal credit, similar to Upgrade, right? But the thing about it, their minimum score is even lower. It's a 560 instead of a 580. Their average credit score is a 638. Now, the minimum income for them, instead of a 78,000, is 60,000, okay? And their loans go from 1,000 up to 50,000. Now, you have to have at least 2 accounts on the credit file, but your DTI can be upwards of 75%. Okay, and again, like I said, it's not about the credit for most of these lenders. And by the way, Upgrade, Universal, they are more likely looking at your FICO 9 credit score. CASHUSA, MONEYMUTUAL, they're looking at the third-party credit bureaus, okay? So these may be looking at your FICO 9. And in terms of FICO 9, I'm going to elaborate on that a bit as well. Now, if you're focusing on trying to build up your FICO 9 credit score, then you have companies like Grow Credit, like if you're paying car insurance, gym membership, utilities, Hulu, Netflix, those type of things, then Grow Credit may be able to help you. So you have to check and see if they operate in your state. But adding those type of trade lines on will boost up your FICO 9, not your FICO 8. Now, the reason I say that is because, like with your banks, okay, with your traditional banks, Bank of America, Chase Bank, U.S. Bank, those type of banks, Capital One, those type of banks, they usually, with issuing out loans and credit cards, they're going to pull your FICO 8 credit score, okay? But this here will help your FICO 9. So those lenders that I talked about, that's the reason you want to try to deal with those lenders. Even like with like Navy Federal, they'll do a FICO 9. However, PenFed, they may do a FICO 8. So you need to know the difference. Now, here's something else you can add to your credit to help boost up your credit score. You have Boom Rental, and these here lenders, the reason I chose them is because they report to all 3 major credit bureaus. They report 2 years of rental history as well, so that's very important. Now, for you guys that are paying somebody a money order, a cash rent, what you want to do so that that trade line can start reporting on your personal credit is you want to sign up with a company like Plastic, PLASTIQ.com. Okay, you sign up with Plastic, then link your credit card or debit card over there, and then have them to send a check to whoever you're paying your rent to. So that way it can actually act as a trade line to help you get qualified for a mortgage. Or if you're trying to get larger lines of credit, this is something that really helps. Now, also adding authorized users. This will also help your FICO 9 credit score, not your FICO 8, because with FICO 8, they don't calculate it in it. Also, in terms of like a FHA mortgage and stuff, if you're trying to get an FHA mortgage, they're real finicky on adding authorized users too. They would have you to remove yourself from an authorized user. Speaking of authorized users, some of you guys may have authorized users from somebody else, and their account was a bad account and it's still reporting, or they may have went over that 30% utilization of the authorized user. You don't have to hassle the person that actually put the authorized user on. All you have to do is call the bank and say, hey, I'm on as an authorized user. Can you remove me? And by them removing you as an authorized user, that will boost your credit score up as well, okay? Now, if you guys have any questions, if you need to understand more about your real credit score, your FICO score, click the link in the description. Pull your real FICO score. It's $39.99. I'm just being transparent with you. But put a link in the description, get the $39.99 program, and then set up a consultation, a 30-minute consultation with me, and I'll go over your credit file to show you exactly what it is that you can do. So in case you decide to hire somebody to help fix your credit, you'll know exactly if they know what they're talking about. All right, so this is Houston with 3-Way Funding. Don't forget, for those of you just finding the YouTube channel, please remember to comment, like, and subscribe. Thank you.